Well, hey, it's Pastor Seth here with you again, and I just pray that you would get into the Bible for yourself today. Scripture is so rich. It is our lifeline. It is what teaches us about God. And friends, we need to constantly be pouring it over our hearts and our minds, over our worries and our fears. We need to know those truths. I need them every day. Just this morning I was reading or listening to the Psalms, and the Psalm 46, which says, God is our refuge and strength, ever-present help in times of trouble. I just needed that today. And so it's my prayer that you would pick up the Bible for yourself. On Sunday, I was preaching out of Genesis chapter 3, which is the fall. It's this great inflection point in the history of humanity. Up until this time, everything was good, everything was idyllic, the people, there was harmony, there was no death, there was no toil, there was no pain in childbirth, there was no frustration and strife between male and female. It was just perfection. And then after that, everything changed. And in Genesis chapter 3, we begin to see a picture of that, of everything changing. But over in the book of Romans, the Bible just, it kind of cross-links itself, it hyperlinks itself. In Romans chapter 5, Romans is the great letter by Paul. It's just this huge letter, and it's all about salvation by grace through faith, the work of Christ, what he did on the cross for us, the justice of God, our sin. Like, it is just rich, very, very rich. And in chapter 5, Paul says this. He's talking about the first sin. He's referencing Genesis chapter 3. And in verse 12 he says, therefore, just as sin came into the world through one man, that's Adam, and death through sin, and so death spread to all men because all sin. So Paul is taking that story and he's showing the theological conclusion that at the time of Genesis 3 there was just two people, and then we start to see the workings out of what happens. But Paul's saying, hey, death entered the world through all that. But in verse 15, he's making this comparison back and forth between Adam, the first Adam, and Adam as a stand-in for all of humanity because he was the first man. But then he was making a comparison with the second Adam, the better Adam. He says in verse 15, but the free gift, that's God's gracious gift of salvation to us, is not like the trespass. For if many died through one man's trespass, one man's sin, that first sin in Genesis 3, much more have the grace of God and the free gift by the grace of that one man, Jesus Christ, abounded for many. And that's just so wonderful and so beautiful. That God took this terrible thing that happened, the fall, in the unleashing of death and misery and division and disease and all the rest of it. But he determined to undo it, to restore it, to one day make all things new. Why? By the death of his son on the cross for us. And it's just a beautiful reminder, Romans chapter 5, Genesis chapter 3, connected, how the Bible fits together. So I just pray that you pick it up for yourself today and read it.